on this Thursday. Glad to have everybody along. Austin Stanley and Jack Gentry on this Thursday morning, like we have been all season long. Ready to have a big time show with Will Levis's ankle injury looking a lot worse than maybe we expected. And guess who's back? Back again. Treylon Burks is back. Go tell your Titans friends. He's back from his concussion. We'll see if he can do anything. But Treylon Burks back on the practice field, and we'll talk about that throughout today's show. So a couple injury updates throughout the morning. Then we got the Magic Bucket. I'm sorry, Jack. I am not able to let you know that the Magic Bucket was lost in the move. It would have been great for us if I lost the Magic Bucket in the move, but that did not happen. It is right here. The Magic Bucket found its way to the new office. So here we go here on this Thursday. Jack, let's get this thing rocking and rolling here as we had a Victory Sunday post-game show, Jack. So rolling here on this Thursday morning. Welcome in.
Yeah, it's Colts hate week, and I know everybody's fired up, even though the season hasn't gone the way everybody wanted. It's still always fun to beat the Colts if you can beat the Colts. It's gotten a little tougher over the last couple of years due to some Titans-related issues, but that doesn't matter. I know y'all are fired up. I know there's some good energy out there this week after a win. So those watching on Facebook, let's share the show. Let's grow the audience today. Let's bring in everybody that we can to have some discussions because Will Levis, there's some injury issues popping up, and then Treylon Burks. We're going to get to him as well. So share the show on Facebook, share it to your Titans Facebook groups. If you're watching on YouTube, tap that bell icon at the top of your screen to turn your notifications on so you get an update every time A to Z Sports goes live or posts any content to the YouTube channel. It's all great content. You don't want to miss out on anything. So make sure you have those notifications on. Finally, if you're watching via Twitch, text that Twitch link to your Titans text groups, text to your family members, text to anyone that you know might be interested in a little Titans talk this morning. It's always fun to wake up and talk a little Titans. So let's get everybody in here this morning in Austin. Let's get the show on the road.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome to A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Jack Gentry of the Tighten Up Podcast and the A to Z Sports Podcast Network. And we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. And also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. We got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process by seeing them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, keeping your information safe online, and get a 2-week free trial with our link, aura.com/ATOZ. And Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in the Middle Tennessee area: Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. They're online at KrebsKubota.com. So, Jack, it's been a better week, a less contentious week, I think, in Titans land after a victory on Sunday against the Panthers. However, there was a little bit of conflict for people's winning and losing morals for this season. How have you taken in this victory week for the first time in quite a while? I have yet to get to the Tighten Up Podcast this week. What have the vibes been for you guys over there?
Well, it was an interesting discussion over there. After one win, Austin Huff lost his mind and believes that the playoffs are in play. I gave him strong pushback over there. I said it's time to pull the plug. The Titans are a vegetable right now. The season's over. We just have to accept it. But at the same time, winning does solve issues temporarily. It does feel like a weight has been lifted off of Titans fans' shoulders and, the team's shoulders inside that building with one win over the worst team in the NFL. It was a get-right game. Titans got right in the first half and then got wrong again in the second half, as it's hard for them to put 2 halves together of good football. But, it's fun moving forward because you have this Colts team where it's a toss-up game, right? They've looked good at Nissan. Will Levis has played well at Nissan for the most part. Just, how can this offense take the next step forward? We saw Jalen Duncan get his first start at left tackle. while he didn't look great, he wasn't as bad as Andre Dillard has looked at times this season. So there's some positives moving forward. And we talked about on the game day show, Austin. It's with 6 games left in the season, it's audition season for some of these Titans role players right now. How can they earn a spot on the team next year? How can they increase their role this year? It's gonna be fun to watch as some of these players that haven't gotten to play a whole lot, try and put their stamp on this season. So still a lot of things to look forward to with this group this year, but it's a game against the Colts that nobody wants to lose. Well, the Tankathon people do want to lose, but it's hard to lay down against the Colts, right? Even though the Titans have had success over the last few years against this team, they haven't been swept by Indianapolis since 2018. And I understand losing helps the draft pick, but man, it stinks to lose to Indy.
Yeah, it definitely does for Titans fans. Jonathan says terrible performance would have been a loss against any other team. A loss would have been better for the franchise. This season is done. So Jonathan agrees there. Our guy Ian across the pond in Scotland DM'd me asking me, what's the life support update? And I told Ian, I was like, it's on. They're still on life support. And they've got the breathing assistant machine, but for Ian, the machine has no power. And so look, I think this Colts game is fascinating because you've got the Colts are coming off of a big win to put them in the last playoff spot in the AFC. Then you have the update that we talked about some yesterday on the show with Sam and I, that Jonathan Taylor's having thumb surgery and is going to be out for this game and maybe a couple more games as well. And so the Titans have a chance to go to 5-0 at Nissan Stadium this season, and getting to 5-7 changes things up quite a bit, because I know everybody's looking at where the Titans are at with the top 10 draft pick currently, but 5-7 would put them right there in the hunt graphic because of how jumbled up all of these teams are in the AFC. Technically, the Titans are only 2 games out of a wild card spot, and beating the Colts to knock them down to 6-6, and the Titans being 5-7 makes that a little bit closer and a little bit more doable. But that's a lot of if this and if that, and Jonathan Taylor's out. But there's also this if Will Levis can play well and win another game to get to 3-3 in his first 6 starts, that's a big deal. But he's also dealing with an ankle injury, and we'll play some video here. But Jack, any response to my setting the table of the situations here?
No, it's interesting. And, there's a lot of underperforming teams in the AFC, the Bills, the Chargers, a bunch of teams, the Bengals, obviously with injury issues with Joe Burrow. A bunch of those teams that we thought would be, much higher up in the AFC standings are kind of in the middle of the pack fighting for one of those wild card spots now. But, I don't know that the Titans have the horses to get it done. While it is fun to be in the hunt, I don't know if that's the right thing for this team moving forward. That being said, a win against Indianapolis, sure, well, it does kind of inch you a little bit closer, but is it worth the ramifications that it might have on getting a left tackle in the first round? That's something you have to weigh.
Well, so and we haven't gotten to the Will Levis. So Kenneth asked a little late, what's the recap on the Levis injury? We haven't got to it yet because we've been getting Jack's vibes throughout the week, but I did see this come in from somebody. Where did it go? Oh no, I lost the comment. Oh, T-Vaughn on YouTube says Vrabel's the type of guy to go 6-0 in the remaining games, lose in the wild card round, and lose a top 10 pick. Well, that seems like that's Mike Vrabel would love to finish 6-0. Lose in the wild card round. I don't think he would want to do that, but Mike Vrabel would love to finish with that type of record, and it would be wild if the Titans finished with 7 straight wins after the 3-7 start to get to, what would that make them, 10-6, 10-7? That would be insane, right? But what would that, and T-Vaughn's focusing on what you miss out on in the top 10 pick, but forgetting about the good things that would have to occur to win 7 games in a row to end the season, where your draft needs change in this hypothetical that T-Vaughn has brought up.
Yeah, and I talked about this on the Tighten Up podcast. It seems like our friends down to the south in the Atlanta Falcons with Arthur Smith, it feels like they always start poorly, like kind of how the Titans did this season. But at the end of the year, they catch a little fire, they make up for it, they make it look respectable. by finishing with 7 wins in the last 2 years. Now, when they did that, they had the number 8 overall pick in back-to-back seasons. But at the same time, what's the point of getting hot late when the season's already essentially over and there's nothing left to play for? The Titans aren't mathematically eliminated, but it's just something to keep an eye on. And your Jonathan Taylor point, even though the Colts will be without JT, he hasn't had a whole lot of success against the Titans. They play a little harder when Jonathan Taylor's back there. Zach Moss this season, 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. I know all Titans fans remember that performance.
Yes, we talked about that a lot yesterday too, throughout that. All right, so let's get to this Will Levis injury update because our guy Treylon Davenport at ESPN has this video that I'm about to play here from practice on Wednesday. Will Levis was officially limited at practice on Wednesday. So here is Will Levis, and this is his left ankle, and it looks a lot worse than we initially thought. His left ankle, and there's a lot of limping going on from Will Levis. And, it's always important to remember the left ankle for a right-handed quarterback is what he's stepping in with into traffic. And, this is 3 straight reps of a lot of gingerly rollouts. I mean, Jack, you just made a face that looked like your ankle was hurting watching.
Well, I was gonna say he looks like me walking to the fridge to get some water after playing pickup basketball. Like there's a lot of stiffness in that first step, and you mentioned it's the foot you push off of, and that's gonna be really something to watch looking forward. But at this point in the season, everybody's dealing with something.
Yes, everybody is dealing with something, but that looks a lot worse than what we had thought. So, Jack, let's ask the audience this question. What's your concern level watching Will Levis limp through practice with an ankle injury? What is your concern level 1 through 10 watching Will Levis limp through that ankle injury in practice? We'll play the video again, but first let me tell everybody about our great friends that you know them well. Speaking of injuries, the Bone and Joint Institute. If you have an ankle injury, if you've got that bum ankle and you're not really sure how to treat it at home, you're hoping you don't need tightrope surgery like Ryan Tannehill, but you want to be able to not have that ankle injury impact you, the experts at the Bone and Joint Institute can help you out. They've got physicians who are phenomenal. They can deal with any type of injury that happens in professional sports, intramural sports, rec leagues for you adults out there trying to grind and get after it like Jack is playing pickup ball, or maybe your son or daughter gets hurt playing youth sports. The Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin, Tennessee is where you should turn to get back to health. Don't let that injury linger. They can help you out, whether it's home help or having some surgery procedure or rehab facility right there in Franklin. Everything under one roof in Franklin. boneandjointtn.org.
It's championship week in college football, and there's never been a better time to get some skin in the game than right now, especially with the NFL, NBA, NHL, all in full swing, college basketball as well. So do it with BetMGM. If you don't like your current sports book or you just want to try, starting somewhere new, do it with BetMGM and use our bonus code A to Z Sports because you'll get up to $1,500 back in bonus bet if your first bet misses. If that first bet misses, do not sweat it. You'll have another opportunity to redeem yourself only if you use our bonus code A to Z Sports on BetMGM. It's the king of sportsbooks for a reason. It's easy to navigate. There's plenty of options to bet over on BetMGM. So make sure if you do enter the betting realm, do it with our friends at BetMGM.
All right. So, Jack, I will send you to the chat. I'll play the video one more time. But what's your concern level watching Will Levis limp through this Titans practice on Wednesday with a bum left ankle? I'll let you go 1 through 10 concern levels. What are the people saying over there?
Steven at a 7, Guy Mann with a 6. Jordan's not very concerned. He's just at a 2. Steven Rodriguez is at a 6 over on Facebook. Jody Newell checks in with a 3. Hoshi is at a 4. If he's playing, T-Von says it's an 8. It's something to definitely be, concerned about. DeMario on YouTube agrees. Rich is just at a 3. Scott's at a 6. Jaron and Ashley both check in with 7s. Kendrell comments 8. Hello, ladies, is not concerned at all. He's at a 0. Stephen King always with the pro scores. 9.87. That might be our highest score yet. 8.5 from DeMarco. William over on Facebook's at an 8. Jay on YouTube agrees. We're going to continue going here with this O-line. which is a good thing. A good point. You got to factor that in always. Ryan on YouTube is at an 8. Matthew's at a 4. Andrew and Jermel check in with 7. Alex Bine is at a 10. You don't mess with joints. So, we've kind of seen it from both sides. We got a 0, we got a 10. But more scores are closer to 10 than they are to 5. So, Austin, I want to kick this to you.
Yeah.
1 of 10. How concerned are you about this Will Levis injury issue?
Danny G says he's a tape it up type of guy. Look, yeah, and so is Ryan Tannehill, right? Like, I think there's zero question about the toughness level for Will Levis. What's my concern on his toughness? 1, right? Because that's as low as it can go in our 1 through 10 scale. We heard a lot of the things when he was at Kentucky last year, playing through a lot of injuries. He was advised by some professional agents to, hey, you should probably shut it down or you're going to hurt your draft stock. And Will Levis like, no. And he was advised by a couple of doctors at Kentucky to do that as well. And he did not. He wanted to fight through it and be out there for his Kentucky team and try to get to a bowl game and win as many games as possible. And so, like, I don't care about his toughness. I believe in that. That's fine. I'm worried about this ankle injury getting worse. I'm worried about Will Levis turning an ankle sprain into a significant ankle injury that needs to be fixed by surgery or that needs to be addressed by something else, or maybe it turns into something else too because he can't protect himself. So my concern level watching Will Levis limp through this practice is at a 7.5 out of 10. Like, I think he's going to play. He's young enough to where he can bounce back. His ligaments are still tight. He's not like 34 years old, Ryan Tannehill, getting back-to-back ankle injuries. But we saw Ryan Tannehill last year go through this same type of deal. Hurt his ankle in one game, fight through it, missed a game or two after that. He comes back. He's not as mobile as he was previously, fights through it, has the second ankle injury, needs the surgery, gone for the season. And now guess what? He hurt it again and he's, back, but still now you've got a reoccurring ankle injury that you're not going to get rid of. So I'm at a 7.5 out of 10 here.
I hear you. Anytime you're talking about an ankle injury to a Titans quarterback, it's cause for concern. But in this instance, I think I'm closer to a 3. Austin.
Really?
I'm on the other side of the scale. Yeah, because look, that video came out on Wednesday, right? It's only Wednesday. So he's got time to heal. And you mentioned how young he is. Look, it's week 13. Like I said, everybody's dealing with something. There's bumps and bruises with every single player across the NFL. And the thing with Levis is it's not like he uses his legs anyways. I understand the lower body is very important in throwing the football. But in 5 starts, he's only ran the ball 15 times. It's not like Tim Kelly rolls him out, and it's not like you can roll him out or have time to really improvise behind this offensive line. It's drop back, make a decision, get rid of the football. Because if you don't, you're going to be on your backside. And even if you do, you're probably still going to be on your backside. So for me, I'm at a 3 just because I believe that Tim Kelly is already kind of I think we saw a lot of what I expect to see this week in the first half of last week, which was let Will Levis get surgical in the short to medium range throws. He was 13 of 18 in the first half, didn't really take a shot deep, had one opportunity and just refused to throw it to D-Hop, missed him on a read. So I think that it's going to be more of the same. I don't think that this is really going to be a big factor this week, and I could be wrong. But if this was a turf toe injury, like I saw Will Levis in college play through a lot of stuff. Just against my Ole Miss Rebels, he dislocated his finger and he left the game with turf toe. If this was a turf toe issue, this is a totally different conversation. But this is a new deal. This is an ankle injury. He hasn't really struggled with ankle injuries throughout his college career. I don't know what happened in high school, if there were anything that might have went on there. But Will Levis is a tough dude. He's going to gut it out. And I don't really think his legs have been a factor this season at all. So I think that Tim Kelly's kind of already game planned through this limitation that Levis has. And that's why I don't think it'll be a huge issue.
Yeah. And so I think it was Jimmy Milks Day asked or mixed day. I don't know why I added a milk in there. A question: didn't Levis have an ankle injury at the end of his college career? It was a foot, is what I remember. Foot is what it was labeled at. I don't know if it was turf toe. You just mentioned turf toe against Ole Miss. Maybe that was it.
Turf
There.
toe, pedal toe. It's listed as the same thing
Yeah.
on his injury history. And he had an AC joint sprain as well in the same season in 2022. So there's a lot of different stuff popping up for him, but this ankle injury is new.
The ankle injury is a carryover thing from the Jags game, right? Like he made that scramble and he got up limping, and then he did not practice last Tuesday, and it was a weird practice week because of Thanksgiving. They had Thursday off, so typically Tuesday's the off day. First day of practice is Wednesday, but he looked a lot worse today or yesterday than he did last week, from what I could see. There's also some really weird comments from people here in the chat that are talking about, like Steve McNair and Eddie George, like, oh, they played through everything. Like those guys, like, what are you even like commenting that for? Like, it's not relevant to our conversation here. Like, we're not asking like, oh, Will Levis is limping, he's weak. No, the guy's injured and he's practicing through it. That's a positive thing. I don't think either Jack or I are questioning whether he's going to play or not. We expect him to play Sunday when we're on the rooftop at Acme and the Titans are kicking off against the Colts. That's what you think, right?
Yeah, no, I 100% believe it. And the whole toughness issue, Will Levis is a tough dude. He's a tough dude. Titans fans haven't really gotten to see it up close and personal yet. Maybe they will now that he's kind of dealing with this ankle injury. But the Titans have had not great luck. But I mean, Ryan Tannehill was a really tough quarterback too. Broke Steve McNair's record for consecutive starts. Not everybody's Steve McNair. Steve McNair is one of one. It's really unfair to hold anybody, much less a rookie quarterback, to Steve McNair's pedestal. It's not easy on Will Levis. He's not going to do anything this season that makes you say, "Oh, well, he's the next Steve McNair." So let's get rid of that. That's irrelevant to the conversation.
Yeah, for sure. All right, there's a couple chats that I want to get to that I disagree with, but I think the conversation is warranted to have. But first, let me tell you guys all about our friends at Krebs Kubota, KrebsKubota.com. They are an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in Middle Tennessee, Columbia, Murfreesboro, and Franklin. Krebs Kubota is where you should turn for all of your equipment needs this holiday season. It is the right time to get that gift for the person in charge of the projects around your home and your property, whether it's a new trimmer, a new mower, any type of equipment. They have so many different styles of mowers to fit whatever your specific need is. They've also got the big stuff. Maybe you've got a few acres. Maybe you've like Delaney Walker, former Titans tight end, who's growing a farm in Middle Tennessee. And he's like, I talked to him at training camp. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. And so he's trying to get in there with all that. So you need that big equipment. You need the right equipment and the relationship with your equipment provider that can help you get all those jobs done. That's where Krebs Kubota comes into play. Family owned and operated for 18 plus years in the mid-state. And they have the Kubota equipment, elite Kubota dealer with the best warranties and the best equipment in the industry, as well as the best customer service online at KrebsKubota.com.
BetMGM's got a lot to offer as well. Live betting options, parlay selection features, and boosted odds specials all over at BetMGM. If you're looking to get in the betting game, do it with BetMGM. It's a great week to do it. A lot of conference championships going on. I know all of you guys have an opinion on Bama, Georgia, and really how the rest of the college football playoff will pan out. You can bet on those futures as well. Who's going to be in the playoffs? Who's going to be out? BetMGM has all of it. So sign up, but do it with our promo code at A to Z Sports. Use our bonus code ATOZ Sports, and you'll get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. It's a little double jeopardy. They want you to start off in the green. They don't want you to start off in the red over at BetMGM. So take the free money that they're handing you and that we're handing you by using our bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right, so here live on this Thursday, I want to get to a super chat and another comment from Jake that I think are interesting, that are relevant for today. I don't agree with them, but I think it's interesting to have this conversation. Andre super chat says, just play Malik, secure a top pick. You don't risk Levis getting seriously hurt for a meaningless win, rehabbing in the offseason and slowing his development. So
that's for lack of a better word, that's a chicken poop statement right there. You want to bench Levis? What do you want to do? Put him in bubble wrap just so he doesn't get hurt? I mean, let the guy play. Let him grow.
I think it's way too early in the season. And let's remember this, Jack, you probably remember. And Jake says, win or lose, the Titans fan wins. So his concern level is at a 0 for this because he thinks you win the game, great. You lose the game, great. But I think why I'm not at a 0 for this is because I agree with Andre. Like, you don't want Will Levis to be spending his entire offseason rehabbing something significant. Marcus Mariota had to spend his offseason going from year 2 to year 3 rehabbing from his broken leg. That was a significant injury that happened in a fluke situation with a weird deal. It's not an ankle sprain. But you remember this, though, Jack. The Titans shut down Marcus Mariota at the end of his rookie year after he sprained his knee deep in December. You remember that? I think he missed his last 3 or 4 games because they couldn't protect him. I remember vividly in New England, Antonio Andrews, running back, missed a blitz, and a linebacker comes through and hits Mariota on the knee, sprained knee. They shut him down for the rest of the year so he doesn't get any worse. There could be a point where Andre's plan comes into play, but it's not right now. It's not when you have to be mathematically eliminated to even think about doing that. And you got to get a few more weeks into this thing before you're saying, all right, the season is actually over. Will Levis's ankle is continuing to get worse or not getting better. And then you can move on from it.
No, I totally agree. And the guy in charge of making that decision at quarterback is Mike Vrabel. And, he hasn't exactly had the season that he was hoping for. So I doubt that he's willing to just throw games away. When that may happen, the only game that I see the Titans benching Will Levis if he's healthy, not really benching him, but just kind of shutting him down for the year, would be week 18. And here's why. The Adams family cannot stand losing to the Houston Texans. They've got them twice. They've got them in, I believe it's week 15 and then week 17.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to lay an egg. They're not going to want to get embarrassed by the Houston Texans. I promise you. There have been coaches fired for doing so in years past. They will not shut down Will Levis if he's healthy enough to play until week 18 at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars, if they even decide to do it in the first place. They will not do it because this franchise cannot stand losing to the Houston Texans.
No, you're right. And you got your first shot at the Texans in Nashville wearing the Oilers throwbacks.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get embarrassed by the Houston Texans in your hometown wearing the old throwbacks. You can't.
Mm-mm.
And
it's like if they had lost that game against the Falcons, are we having a different conversation about Mike Vrabel? You bring 200 former players in, and if they lay an egg, how does Amy Adams Strunk handle that? It's a hypothetical, but at the same time, that this ownership group does not tolerate losing to Houston.
Now, Andre comes back and says, when Levis gets carted off the field, we'll revisit this. Now, it's
a bit dramatic.
Yeah, that's a bit dramatic indeed. I mean, come on, dude. Did anybody expect? Nobody expects significant injuries like that when he's got a bad ankle. I don't think the Tennessee Titans would put him out there if they truly felt like a carting off the field injury was a possibility with the current injury. Any player could have a bum something and get carted off with an injury 100% unrelated to that bum something. And Andre is going to go take a victory lap if Will Levis gets carted off, which is the weird thing about what I'm getting from Andre this morning.
Toxic. Very toxic.
Yeah. Just a weird comment. Yes, there is a time when you can shut down Levis. And I did want to see, Damon had a comment about once you're mathematically eliminated, you can shut down Levis, Jeffrey Simmons, and here it is. He goes, if the Titans are eliminated from playoff contention, start Malik and shut down Levis, Simmons, and Henry. Well, I don't think you're ever going to shut down Derrick Henry because that means ending his Titans career early. And I don't think they're going to do that. You didn't trade him, so you're not going to shut him down early. You're going to try to get Derrick Henry as many stats as he possibly can before that.
And there's the Week 18 game against Jacksonville's at home. You want to send him out right if you are sending him out at all.
Man, that has the potential to be a very emotional game, right?
A lot of guys probably playing their last game for the Tennessee Titans.
That a lot of guys that mattered a lot for this franchise. So look, I think it's ridiculous to do what Andre's doing right now. Yeah, be concerned that the offensive line can't protect Will Levis and he has a bum ankle, but I think it's way too early to shut him down with 6 games left. Like I said on the pregame show Sunday, you want Will Levis to have as many quality experiences moving forward this season to build on. And I think he's going to play. He had a weird ankle injury that he was working through from practice yesterday. So we'll see how it goes. Now, Jack, any last thoughts on the Will Levis situation before we discuss this Treylon Burks topic that is pretty guaranteed to get people fired up?
No. I'm just looking forward to him kind of putting a solid 60 minutes together. And I don't know if that's possible behind this offensive line, but I think if he plays really well against the Indianapolis Colts, those doubters that still are, have questions about Will Levis, I think that will go a long way for those guys.
No doubt. All right. It is eSports here live on this Thursday. Jack, Treylon Burks is back at practice, going through individual drills that was Wednesday the 29th, which was 27 days after suffering a concussion in Pittsburgh against the Steelers after going up for that deep ball on that 4th and 4 play late in the game. So 27 days later, Burks makes a return to the practice field. Shout out to Ron Davenport for both the videos we played today. So very interesting question here. Want to get to you guys about this. What do you need to see from Treylon Burks this season for him to climb out of the bust category? What do you need to see from Treylon Burks moving forward in the last 6 games for him to climb out of the bust category? But first, Farm Bureau Health Plans, they can climb you out of a bad health plan. I don't know what your health coverage is right now, but Farm Bureau Health Plans can probably find you a better one. FBHP.com/ATOZ is their website. They have served Tennesseans across the entire state for over 75 years, and they make it easy on you. You can go to their website to start your process. Once again, FBHP.com/ATOZ. You can call them. You can walk into one of their 200 plus, I think it's 218 locations across the entire state. Every county, every corner of the state of Tennessee, Farm Bureau Health Plans is represented. They also support athletics and the sports in the state as well, being partners with the Tennessee Titans, the Tennessee Volunteers, a lot of high schools around the state as well. You'll see their great Farm Bureau Health Plans, red and brand right there. So whatever your situation is, first of the year's coming up, try to find a better situation for your health plan at FBHP.com/ATOZ.
Speaking of better, new bettors can sign up with BetMGM. Use our bonus code A to Z Sports and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. You can bet player props for this week's game against the Indianapolis Colts. You can bet on which teams you believe will make the playoffs in the NFL. There's so many options to get some skin in the game. If you're looking to get some skin in the game or looking to switch sports books, maybe change up your luck, do it with BetMGM. Use our bonus code ATOZ Sports when you sign up to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses.
All right, Jack, I'll play the video again. I'll send you to the comments. I'm curious about this. Treylon Burks back at practice on Wednesday, 27 days after his concussion in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. What do you need to see from Treylon Burks this season for him to climb out of the bust category? This is going to be fascinating. Jack, you got it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I
Yeah.
didn't know if we were going to finish up the Treylon Burks video.
To the comments. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to the comments. T-Von says receptions. JQ says consistency. DeMarco says, I need 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. American Toff brings up a good point that I was kind of pondering. 27 days is a long time for a concussion. It's usually, just a week, maybe 2 weeks. So that's something interesting about this injury. Brandon says he needs to take over a game. Jaron agrees consistency is key. At least 3 to 4 touchdowns from Kenyatta West. He's only got 1 touchdown in his career. That is a very concerning number for a player whose best attribute is probably beating teams deep. He's an explosive type wide receiver. He hasn't found the end zone enough in his Titans career. Matthew says it's simple. It's availability. The best ability is availability. Staying healthy. Tony agrees. Brad Anderson also agrees with availability. Mr. Jones says production and durability. Those 2 things are key in having a wide receiver that you can kind of mold your franchise around. We'll see if Treylon Burks ever gets to that level. Darren Lee says 6 TDs, 1 TD per game. That's a very high bar for even the best receivers in football. Let's see. Going to Bjork, 400 yards and 2 touchdowns to close out the season. That's going to be around 45 yards per game for Treylon Burks. Very doable. Very doable expectations.
45. You talking about a total of 400 yards on the season, or 400 yards in the last 6 weeks?
Well, 45 yards a game for the last 6 games will put him at 392 yards per season. So that's kind of in that ballpark if that's what Bork's referring to. Guy Man says multiple 100-yard games. Demario says consistency in catching. Too many drops issues when Treylon Burks is on the field, which is a rare sight these days. At least 1 100-yard game from Chandler Cummings. 2 touchdowns a game first. Plays more than 3 games in a row from Justin. That'd be a good start, wouldn't it, Justin? Catch the dang ball from Charlie. Tutties from Johnny. Stay healthy and make plays from Jesse. Have at least 1 big game from Eric Castillo. So a lot of these comments kind of have, something in common with what I want to see from Treylon Burks. I want to see him take over a game as well. I want to see 1 100-yard game from Treylon Burks when he returns. And I want to see at least 1 multi-touchdown game from Treylon Burks when he returns. I don't think either of those are out of the question. When Treylon Burks is healthy, he's, capable of beating teams over the top. And what's disappointing is your best deep threat hasn't been available with Will Levis, who loves taking shots deep. We haven't seen a lot of those lately, but I know it's still in the playbook. I know it's still in Will Levis's bag. So I want to see Treylon Burks eclipse 100 yards in a game when he returns. And I want to see him separately have a game where he finds the end zone at least twice. I think both are within reach. It is asking a little bit, the multi-touchdown game, but he's capable of doing these things. And it's about damn time that he shows he can be that first-round wide receiver that the Titans, took after they traded A.J. Brown away to Philly.
Yeah, real quick, Randy says his 1 career TD was from a fumble bust. No. He technically has.
True, I guess.
It's not accurate. He's got 2 touchdowns in the NFL. One of them was recovering a Derrick Henry fumble, and he caught one against the Eagles on the same play that he got his first concussion of his NFL career. So, Randy, get your stuff straight before you come in here and just blast incorrect things. Look, the whole question is Treylon Burks has to climb out of the bust category, because I'm not holding his concussions against him. He had 2 concussions in 11 months. That's nothing to mess around with. The Titans, I think, did the right thing by waiting 27 days before he got back at practice. So I think that's fine. I'm disappointed and let down from Treylon Burks because when he has played this season, he's not come down with contested catches, and then he's had drops that have hit him in the hands or the numbers when he's been wide open. And I feel like Treylon Burks has been the biggest disappointment of this season of somebody who's played in a game. Like, I'm removing Caleb Farley from the conversation. Mm-hmm. So Treylon Burks has been a big letdown for me based on what I had expectations for him. So for him to start to climb out of the bust category on my side, I agree. I think he needs at least 1 game of 100 yards in the last 6. he has to play in all 6 games. Or I don't know if he's going to play on Sundays. That's unfair. He has to play in every game after he returns from the concussion. He cannot exit or miss another game due to any type of injury or any other thing. I think Treylon Burks has to, once he comes back, he has to play the rest of the games moving forward and stay out there. He needs to catch the football. I think he needs to compile around 300 yards total over the next 6 games, get in the end zone multiple times. Not in the same game. I need at least 2 touchdowns the rest of the year, 300 yards, and availability for Treylon Burks. That is what I have to see for him to turn this thing around and just chalk this up to a bad knee sprain and a bad, ugly concussion against Pittsburgh and come back in year 3 and prove that he can have value.
Austin, I don't think it's much of a stretch to say that Treylon Burks is the Titan under the most pressure for the remainder of the season. That includes the coaching staff. I think that Treylon Burks absolutely has to show this team something that they can feel comfortable hanging their hats on moving into next season with a new quarterback who needs his wide receivers to stay available, especially with a DeAndre Hopkins that's on the wrong side of 30, even though he's been productive this year. Treylon Burks is absolutely, in my opinion, the Titan under the most pressure in the last 6 games of the season.
Yeah, it's a ton of pressure right here. So let's get to more of these comments here on the show. But first, I want to give a shout out to one of our great friends on our Titan Game Day Live, Amanda J. Gentry, the great partner and title of our post-game show that Jack and I have been hosting, and Sam too, throughout the season. No relation to Jack Gentry, but Amanda J. Gentry can take care of you when it comes to getting you in the right situation, whatever your situation is for your criminal or family court situation. You need Amanda J. Gentry wherever justice demands. She has practiced in Tennessee family and criminal courts in 35 counties as a trial lawyer, and her specialty is father's rights, protecting your fundamental constitutional rights to be a father to your children and protecting those rights throughout whatever it is that you're dealing with. So she will go passionately attack that case for you. That is how she does it. AmandaJGentry.com for the whole team, the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. So, Jack, let's go back to some of these comments about Treylon Burks. Brandon says, consistency is fair. Just do what we've seen you do. For Burks, it's 1 touchdown catch or a 100-yard game with Levis multiple TDs. That's the level for those dudes. Brandon, a different Brandon, comes through and says, it's a tough ask for a player to not get hurt anymore. I get what you're saying, Brandon, but with Treylon Burks, who has been unavailable several times because of injuries or his conditioning / asthma in his rookie summer, you've got to be available. You have to figure out anything there is to do for you to be available for this team the rest of the way.
It's probably not fair, and it is a tough ask for any football player at the professional level to stay healthy. But unfortunately for Treylon Burks, the reality of the situation is he doesn't have the benefit of the doubt anymore. Unavailability is going to absolutely come into play when his rookie contract expires, when you have to really start shaping this team around Will Levis and this new core. Is Treylon Burks going to be a part of that future? These last 6 games are going to go a long way in determining some of that, piecing together some of that conversation.
Yeah. And then I'm looking at this question. Hey, this is a good question because Rooney asks, when does Burks officially become a bust?
I think you're a bust until proven otherwise, right?
You think it's here?
Yeah, for any rookie, you have to prove that you are capable of playing at the NFL level when you come into this football league. It's a tough league to succeed in, and for Treylon Burks, he's yet to find that at a consistent rate. So you are what you are until you prove otherwise. Right now, Treylon Burks, outside of that Philly game where he kind of popped off and then got knocked out of the game, there hasn't been like a aha moment, like the Titans absolutely hit on Treylon Burks. To me, you are what you are until you prove otherwise. Treylon Burks right now, unfortunately, would fall into that category for me.
So I'm typically late to calling players busts because I don't want to jump the gun on individual situations. And so I think it's tough to label anybody a bust before their third season. And
Isaiah Wilson
look,
never
he
got to
is
season 3.
who?
Isaiah Wilson, Caleb Farley.
Well, okay. Like, but that was those again.
Maybe anomalies.
Yeah, Isaiah Wilson is the worst draft pick in NFL history. I said that first. That was me. I said that. But like this is not being an idiot and getting arrested a half a dozen times in a year or doing whatever the hell he's doing. But overall, like for somebody who is playing that has unfortunate injuries, because that's what Treylon Burks has, unfortunate injuries last year and then with a concussion again this year. So I truly, you can be trending towards being a bust in your first 2 years. Isaiah Wilson's out of the league, so that's fair to do that. But Caleb Farley, to this point, hasn't played because of his back situation. And we knew that was the risk going into it, right? Treylon Burks did not have any red flag risk going into the draft process like Caleb Farley has. Caleb Farley was just a dumb draft pick by John Robinson, who was a little too cocky. And his back hasn't gotten better. But with Treylon Burks, I think it's fair to give him year 3. And if he comes out in year 3 and we're seeing the same stuff, then now that's officially bust stamped.
That's fair.
He's in it. Like he is right there in the portal of being officially tagged a bust. But he can get himself out of it in year 3.
No, I agree. I totally agree. But right now, he is what he is. And he's played 16 games in this league, which is a decent sample size. You know, obviously, you want to see more.
Much. That's not that much.
I know. But even in those
missed,
even in those 16 games, Austin, he only has 566 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Like he hasn't done much of anything when he's been on the field. He's definitely got more drops than he has touchdowns, and that may be true for a lot of receivers in this league. That could just be me cherry picking right there. But at the same time, like he hasn't done enough when he's been out there. I agree, though. There is a shot at redemption. Like Treylon Burks isn't. I'm not sharpieing bust on Treylon Burks yet, but I have written it in pencil.
That's fair. He's missed 11 games, right? Make that 12. Yeah. So he's missed 12 games out of 28. So he's not far away from missing 50% of the games in his career at this point. Now, the concussions are what they are. Like I don't fault any player for having concussion issues. That's completely out of their control, and nobody wants that. Turf toe, also out of your control. The knee sprain that popped up earlier this year, that's a football injury, and that's brutal to have. He is on track to being a bust, but I am not labeling him or tagging him as a bust yet because he can come out in year 3, put a good season together, and that's okay. And he can still trend towards being a good player for this team next year, and he can do it and get on the right track by having a big 5 or 6 games at the end of this season, getting 300 total yards in those games, scoring a couple touchdowns, and being available. Why not?
No, I believe me. Nobody wants Treylon Burks to be successful more than me. I would love to see Treylon Burks help this Titans team win football games. It's just when he has been out there, he's been very underwhelming. And I think that sometimes we say, oh, well, Treylon Burks hasn't developed because of injuries. Well, even when he's out there, I feel like people use the injuries thing to kind of mask the issues of Treylon Burks just simply not performing up to his capabilities when he's on the football field. It's not like there are 2 separate issues when it comes to Treylon Burks. Sure, he's not available, but when he is available, he hasn't done much of anything.
Yeah, Sightseeing says if Burks isn't the guy after next year, the AJ trade will be one of the worst in NFL history. Watching AJ in Philly is pure pain. Yeah, I agree. That would be it up there. I don't know what the top list of worst trades in NFL history is, but that's definitely one of them. Ryan says, Austin, you are highly critical on Levis as being a bust, so please keep the same energy at Got Receipts. Look, I didn't like him as a prospect, right? That's different than thinking he was a bust. I didn't think he would amount to being a starting caliber quarterback, Ryan, and I've already admitted my wrongs. And you forgave me when I admitted my wrongs. Like, do you remember that show? I remember that show. I remember the date of that show. Ryan, come on, bro. That was October 30th. It is November 30th. Ryan, did you forget already in the last 30 days our back and forth here? Like, I appreciate the super chat, $4.99 for this interaction here. But you forgave me for this. I owned up to it, right? So I got your receipts, bro. That was Monday, October 30th, when I came out and said I was wrong about Will Levis. So, Ryan, you can take your receipts and throw them away because I've already given you the refund, dude. You can get over it.
I like
it's basketball season. Get over
it. You know how some people have their like sober dates tattooed on their body? You're gonna have your Will Levis is actually a good player date tattooed on your body somewhere. October 30th. You got to get that on you. He remembers the date of the show, people.
Yeah. Well, I remember, like, you can ask me any date in the last 2 months, and I'll tell you what day of the week it was. That is a gift I have in football season because I know every football Saturday and Sunday date for schedule. So that's just kind of my special gift of, October 30th was my apology day for Will Levis. All right. Got fired up.
That's awesome. I can't believe you remember the date. That's incredible.
Ask me like a day. Give me a date in October or November, and I'll tell you what day of the week it was.
November 3rd.
November 3rd was a Friday. It was the Friday after the Steelers Thursday night game. Try again.
All right. Well, now that you have like a couple dates in each month, it's tough. What if I go September?
Fine.
September 27th.
September 27th was.
Now you're piecing it. Okay, when the Titans first play their first game.
September 27th was a Wednesday.
You're a sicko, man.
Is that right?
I'm just taking it as truth. Let's see. September, what did I say, 27th?
Yeah.
September 27th was a Wednesday. Wow. That is Rain Man quality.
It's just because I knew the Vols played South Carolina on September 30th, which is a Saturday. Again, it's football schedules. It's really not that hard.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Wednesdays are the hardest because it's the furthest removed from a football game.
I thought you were going to go, okay, the Titans played their first game on this date. That was a Sunday, so that means 2 weeks from here, and break it down that way. But that's even more impressive that you didn't use that. So moving on from date talk.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the magic bucket on this Thursday and wrap up this ridiculous show. Always shout out Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. No matter the day of the week, Wilson County Hyundai can help you out with your new car. It's also a great time to buy a vehicle at the end of the year. So check out Pain Bones Crew in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Jack, I've got the magic bucket. Unfortunately, it did not get lost in the move. So
dang, that's just too bad. Isn't it?
All right. So here's something that we have to do here. I will be picking you up on the way to Nissan Stadium or on the way to Acme on Sunday.
We'll have submissions.
Will you have a physically printed out piece of paper and slice it up, cut it with scissors for me to put in this bucket?
Just notebook paperwork, or do I need printer paper?
I mean, printer paper probably is. Yeah, if you want to write, if you want to write it down, you can. That's fine.
Okay. All
right. Real quick, Michael says, "Is it me or is this show getting worse?" It's definitely you. Okay, so let's go ahead and. Okay.
You're kind of on a roll, I'm not going to lie. All right, what do we got? Who's this for, by the way?
This is for you. Okay. Jack, have you given us a tutorial on how to tie a tie?
Oh, No, and I can tell you why.
Because you
And
don't know how to tie a tie?
this is a little embarrassing to admit, but I don't know how to tie a tie.
Okay, Jack, you've got 1 week. Next Thursday, you will show us how to tie a tie.
Look, I'm a common man. I'm blue collar, literally today. Okay, we don't wear suit and ties around these parts. So yeah, I'm gonna have to learn to do this. This is actually gonna be helpful. So single Windsor, I imagine.
I don't give a
Single
damn.
Windsor action.
Whatever you
Okay.
want to do.
All right.
Whatever you want to do.
YouTube videos are gonna be dialed up this week.
There you go. All right, so you've got 2 pieces of homework. This is for me. Okay. You get to start with this. So I have to name as many team mascots as I possibly can. You get to pick the league that I have to choose from. And this is a 30 seconds on the clock situation.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. I got a diabolical league that you're just gonna really struggle with.
Yeah,
But it's in play. It's fair. It's fair. You'll know a few.
okay.
All right, 30 seconds.
Yeah. So you have to tell me the league. The clock will start when I begin, not on your start.
Major League Soccer.
Like mascots? Like
Well,
the
actually,
guy
you know
dressed
what?
in the animal outfit.
That's not necessarily fair because there's a lot of FCSC. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll switch. I'll change it. Let's go Major League Baseball.
Sam made me do that already.
Mm.
That's the one
Okay.
I can't do anymore.
All right, I got another one. The WNBA.
I don't know any.
You gotta know a couple.
No, like the mascots, like Smokey,
Oh gosh, those kind
like
of
T-Rack.
Okay, well, I mean, it sounds like we're pretty limited with our options here. NBA. There's plenty of mascots that are famous. Surely you'll know a few here.
All right.
Ready?
Do you have the clock ready?
Yeah, I got the clock.
All right. Does the NBA have mascots? Like I know some
Oh yeah,
teams do. Every
everybody's
team?
got a mascot. I think almost every team has a mascot. There may be one or two without one. But yeah, I mean, the Grizzlies have a mascot. I'm already helping you here. I don't need to help you out anymore. I mean, if we can't go NBA, where do we go?
The NFL or the SEC?
But those are layups for you. I don't want to make it that easy.
Let's
Unless
let's
should
do
we
the
just do
SEC.
the NFL?
Let's do the
The
SEC.
SEC. SEC. Okay. All right. We'll do SEC.
All right. 30 seconds on the clock.
Sure. Yeah.
Smokey, Mr. Commodore, Colonel Reb, Aubie, the Tiger, Albert, the Elephant, Mike, the Tiger, Ugga. Who's the Gator?
10 seconds.
Who's the Gator?
Time's up.
Ah.
By the way, it's Landshark Steve down in
Oh.
Oxford. So put some respect on the Landshark's name, please.
Sorry.
Albert is Albert the alligator down in Florida?
Albert was the elephant.
Big Al. Oh, he wants you to call him by his full government, Big Al, instead of Albert.
What is the
I'll pull
Alabama
up a list
elephant?
of them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So you got Mike the Tiger, you got Big Al, you missed Albert and Alberta Gator down in Florida.
No, I did get Albert, but
Okay,
I
you
thought it was
got
the
Albert.
wrong one.
So Ugga in Georgia, Revel, I believe that's how you say it. Or I don't know how you
That's
say
the Texas A&M
A&M.
dog. Yeah.
Yes.
Collie.
Aubie the Tiger, Smokey, Tony the Land Shark, Big Red. What in the hell? I guess Big Red is the Arkansas mascot. Bully from Mississippi State, Cocky from South Carolina.
Yeah.
And Truman the Tiger from Missouri.
Oh, of course.
Truman the Tiger.
Mizzou
How
would
could you
have
forget?
Truman the Tiger. That's so stupid.
That is the lamest for sure.
That's such a Missouri thing to do. I hate that school. I can't believe I applied to go there. I hate that. I hate that place.
So funny.
You can tell Austin Huff, his mascot name sucks.
I'll relay that information.
All right, guys, that'll do it for us. Me and Jack will be live on Titan Game Day Live coming up on Sunday at Nissan Stadium, at Acme. For a shout out to all of our great partners for our Titan Game Day Live at the rooftop at Acme, Adventure Science Center, Jarrett Fire, Chimney, BetMGM, the Mint Gaming Hall, the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, and X Golf Nashville. We'll make sure to see you guys tomorrow. Buck Live tonight on a Thursday night for A to Z Sports Primetime, and we'll be back tomorrow morning on a Friday. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Appreciate it as always.
Tighten Up Podcast out now.